In this application, we'll look at a book order. An order of books for a math course weighs 220 pounds. Each book weighs 2 3/4 pounds. How many books are in the order? We will solve this using our 5-step problem-solving strategy, and the first step is to familiarize ourselves with the problem situation. Looking at the problem, we know that the whole order of books weighs 220 pounds. Each book weighs 2 3/4 pounds, and we're asked to find how many books are in the order. So we will let B equal the number of books in the order. And I believe we understand the problem well enough to move to the next step, which is to translate the problem to mathematical language. To translate, we think about what we know. We know the weight of each book, and we know the total weight, and we've also defined a variable that representing the number of books in the order. So in English, we could write the relationship between those things as the weight of each book times the number of books is the total weight of the order. And this translates then, the weight of each book was 2 3/4 pounds, so we have 2 3/4. Times is a multiplication symbol. The number of books we let equal B translates to equals, and the total weight was 220 pounds. So write 220. Now we have an equation and we're ready to move to step 3 of the problem-solving process, that is to solve the equation. We're asked to solve 2 3/4 times B equals 220. To do so, we'll divide on both sides of the equation by 2 3/4. Dividing by 2 3/4 on this side, we have B equals, and then we need to divide by 2 3/4 on this side as well. And now we'll work on the right side to simplify. We have B equals, and we want to, whenever we multiply or divide using mixed numerals, we need to write that as a fraction. So we will write 220 divided by 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11, so we have 11/4. Now we're asked to divide by a fraction, which means we want to multiply by the reciprocal of 11/4. So we have B equals 220 times 4/11. And multiplying, we have B equals 220 times 4/11. Now we try to simplify. 220 times 4/11, factoring 220, I see that there's a factor of 11 in 220. So I write 220 as 11 times 20, and then times 4 divided by 11, which is 11/11 times, now I move the 11 out of here so I can add a factor of 1 and write this as 4/1. And then there's also a factor of 20 in the numerator. So 11/11 is 1, 4 times 20 is 80, and I have that B equals 80. Now to check the answer, we can multiply the 80 books that we think are in the order times the amount that each book weighs. Again, we need to change 2 3/4 to fraction notation, so that's 11/4. And if we multiply, we get 880/4. Simplifying that, it's 220, which was the weight of the total order given in the problem. So the 80 books of the order does check, and we can state that there are 80 books in the order.